Trump is keeping promises, and the lying media industrial complex is going crazy. They're going, no, you can't keep your promises. I'm John Mike Keane. Here's Scott Jennings on CNN.
Well, first of all, I think Mr. Holman is the exact right choice, and I'm glad the president has moved on that so quickly because it was such a big part of his campaign.
Trump ran on closing the border. He has now picked Holman to be his border czar, and they're going to start deporting people. Remember, Trump was clear to the American voter. He said, I'm going to deport them. We're going to close up the border. I'm going to deport them. And now it's time for him to make good on his promises. And CNN is already giving him flack. That's their job. They're going to use their media now to attack his administration for doing what the American people voted for him to do.
Number two, look, there's a whole bunch of people in this country that don't need to be here. In fact, there's, I think, 1.3 million people who've already received deportation orders from federal courts. They've already had due process. They need to leave. And so there's a good place to start.
This is about the 1.3 million people that they're saying is easy. Get the criminals out of here. So they're going to start with them. And now, just like every issue they can lie about, they're going to go, no, they're going to go after the grannies and the mamas and the babies.
There's a whole other bunch of people who are here that we know have committed violent crimes, either where they were or since they've been here. They need to be sent away as well.
Notice the emphasis is on the violent criminals. They're the easy ones. It's going to be very easy to deport them. And the news is already, they look like they're at a funeral.
So there are large numbers of people that need to be taken out of this country. And I think Mr. Holman is going to be the person who's most capable of getting that done. And for those who think that this is somehow unusual, it's not. Every administration deports people. Barack Obama deported all kinds of people, lots of people, in fact.
He also put families in cages. Now, why didn't the media tell you about what Barack Obama did in deporting illegals? Why? Have you figured it out yet? Because they don't care about deporting illegals and deporting criminals. They don't care. They don't care when Barack Obama does it, and they don't care when Trump does it. What they do care about is losing power. And that's why they have to pretend to care when Trump does the same thing Obama does. That's every single issue in every instance. When the Democrats prosecute a political rival, they don't care. And then when Trump, who's going to prosecute rivals for the laws they broke, the Democrats are going to come out and pretend to care. They don't care. Don't worry, guys. Everyone go back to sleep.
You realize, I mean, it's chilling what he just said. You realize that when he says, yes, families can be deported together, what he is saying is that U.S. citizens can be deported. What he is saying is if the parent is undocumented and they have U.S. citizen children or U.S. citizen spouse, or and you don't want to separate them, then let's deport the U.S. citizens.
And now Ana Navarro's also lying because that was a setup question to Thomas Homan, when they said, is there any way you can deport illegals without splitting up families? So that was the setup question that he answered.
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
To 60 Minutes, he said, yes, there is one way. Instead of just deporting the illegal, you could deport the whole family, meaning even the ones that are U.S. citizens. So they gave him the constraint, and then he answered their question. And now Ana Navarro is lying to the View audience, which is what they do all the time to scare you, as if that is the main policy. The main policy is not to send U.S. citizens home with their families. But the main policy is to get the illegals back. And you saw how many single working age 22-year-old males they were who were not here with families. They're not going to split up families overall. This is what the Democrats do on every single issue.
Look, Donald Trump won the electoral vote. He won. He's going to win the House. He won the Senate. For all effects and purposes, he's got the Supreme Court. They've given him immunity. This is what the country voted for.
That's right. He ran on it. He ran on deporting illegals. This is why I voted for him. By the way, this is why he got the most number of Latinos going for him. It's because he ran on it. He told you the truth.
This is, a lot of people thought that when he talked about mass deportations, he wasn't being serious. I don't know how many times he had to say it for people to realize he was being serious. Well, if you thought he wasn't being serious, the appointment of Tom Homan today as Border Czar, and he will be in charge of a mass deportation program, the largest the country has ever seen, they say. And now Stephen Miller, as Deputy Chief of Staff, should let you know that he was absolutely serious.
He was serious. And her premise is that for those of you who think he was just kidding and he wasn't serious, no, nobody who voted for Trump thought he was kidding and wasn't serious. The people who voted for him because he was serious and not kidding. It's a very popular issue. It's running 65% in polls. People want illegals deported. And now she's trying to gaslight you into even telling you only supported Trump because you thought he was joking about the deportations.
And when you talk about mass deportations, people think, oh, it's just going to be the criminals. There's not enough criminals, aliens in the federal prison system for it to be mass deportations. What it means is grandmothers. What it means is brothers and aunts. Yep. What it means is abuelos y abuelas.
Actually, they are all criminals. Everyone who broke the law and is illegal, they need to go back. Now, they're not going to be high priority, as some violent thug. But her premise that they're innocent and did not commit a crime, I'm only saying it is exactly the same kind of crime for an illegal to walk over that border as it is for me to cheat on my taxes. Is she okay with me cheating on my taxes? Are you going to call me innocent if I don't pay my taxes ever again? Of course not. She's going to go, you need to go to jail.
It means dreamers. It means your family members. It means your colleagues. It means your friends. It means people who are part of the society.
It means that the Biden was so evil that he allowed 11 million of these people to come over here only to get their heart broken. Remember who caused it. The people who let them over here are the ones who do the heartbreak. When they run all this camera footage of families being broken up, and that's how the media is going to still be a propaganda arm to prove that they didn't learn anything, to prove that they despise the American voters and their will.
And look, America, those of you who voted for Trump, this is what you wanted. This is what you voted for. You screwed around and you're about to find out.
No, sister. We did not screw around. This is exactly what we wanted. In fact, it was the Republicans that screwed around for the last 40 years on immigration. They're the ones that screwed around and didn't do anything. So we never found out what it was like. Here's some other things that Trump made a promise to close the Department of Education. Watch this.
And one other thing I'll be doing very early in the administration is closing up the Department of Education in Washington, D.C., and sending all education and education work and needs back to the states. We want them to run the education of our children because they'll do a much better job of it. You can't do worse.
From your lips to God's ears. Trump has so many plans that he announced before he won. The people voted for him. He has a mandate, and the media is going to try to destroy it and go against the will of the people because they hate democracy, they hate the vote, they hate consent of the will of the governed, and they hate you living in a place where you know the truth. I'm John Mike Keene.